What's up everyone, welcome to the channel. So what you see here is my new wicker-bill type spoiler that's been hydro dipped in cryptic, the same pattern that's on my hood vents. It's been a while since I've had it, and it finally just came back from getting dipped. So I'm gonna go ahead and install it. It should be relatively easy and straightforward. So originally I thought I was gonna be bolting it in because it had two of these little hole marks, but apparently they're not really threaded. So it's not a stud like I need it to be, so I can put a bolt on there. So there's a bunch of 3M tape that's around the edges, and I'm also going to use probably silicone as well to help secure it. I've seen someone else do it before. I don't have any major concerns, however I preferred it for it to be bolted up. So I'm going to go ahead and put this on the ground. I don't know if you saw that I accidentally kicked it. Hold on just a second. Okay. So yeah, go ahead and put this on the ground, as you can see there. And I'm going to go ahead and start taking off the old one. So I think the old one is actually bolted on. So what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to remove all four tail lights, get the bolts up from underneath there, and yeah, pretty straightforward. So there's a little screw right here. That's all that holds the tail lights in, and then I'll be able to reach inside and mess with the actual spoiler. So let's go ahead and do that real quick. Okay, so we got all four lights undone. From what I can tell, there's 4 bolts holding on this rear spoiler. One on the far end, one kind of right here, and same thing on the other side. So I'm gonna go ahead and reach up under there and figure out what size these bolt nuts are, and go ahead and take them off real quick. Okay, so I got all the bolts undone. They were so annoying because every single one of the bolts are different sizes. Like these sets are one side, they're like 11/32 or 9mm. Then this is like 9mm. This is like 10mm, and this one's like 9mm. They're all freaking different, and you gotta use either a wrench or you can use a socket depending on the angle. But it's just a pain. So this spoiler should just come right off. So let me play with it just a little bit. I only got one hand, but it's definitely loose, but I only got one hand, so let me try to undo this. Okay, so it wasn't so easy to pull off because it was actually held by double-sided tape at the same time with these bolts. So what I'm going to do is unplug the brake light here, and let's carry it over here. So here's the old spoiler. So next thing I need to do is take this brake light off and transfer it probably just straight to the body, because there's no spots where to drill in here. Probably just goes right here, but we'll figure it out, and I'll let you know what I find out. Okay, so I sort of have it mocked up here. And of course, it doesn't go on perfectly like I think it should. So apparently I'm gonna have to modify or 3M the brake light to actually go in here. I don't know, I gotta figure something out. I mean, it looks good sitting on here, but it's not a direct fit. So I gotta figure out how to get this brake light to look good putting on there. So that's my next project right now. So it goes perfectly on my wife's Corvette because she has the full spoiler that comes stock with it, which is this little black piece, and mine's is essentially missing that. So that's the problem I'm running into, is I'm missing this brake light piece. It bumps right up against it and it's perfect. So I'm gonna have to figure something out over here with mine. Of course, it's always something. It's always some stupid shit that comes up like that, and I don't think I have any extra trim pieces like that. Actually, I'm 99% sure I don't have it. I don't have this piece that goes right here that the brake light goes into. So let me try to figure something out. I'm probably gonna do is probably put 2 bolts through here, just to hold the light in, and then just put the spoiler around it. Yeah, so let's try to figure that out. Okay, went to my bolt bin, got 2 bolts in there. I'm only gonna do hand tight because that's kind of like all that's needed for this. It doesn't need to be really that tight, because most of these bolts for the spoiler were actually hand tight. If it starts rattling, then shame on me. So the next thing is I'm gonna clean this surface up, and then prep the surface. Well, clean and prep is kind of the same thing, and get ready to try to mount the spoiler up the best I can. So right now I'm using a bunch of Goo Gone and my fingernails to try to get just all this adhesive off. I mean, it's not really crucial. This is Goo Gone to remove stickers and stuff like that. It's not really that crucial because I have plenty of surface area to work with, not to mention it's going to be covered, but I just want to have a clean surface to work with. It couldn't hurt to do it, but you never know, it could hurt not to do it. So go ahead and clean this up real quick. Now I'm going to probably spray with like a degreaser or some brake cleaner and just clean the full surface before I go in and attach the other spoiler. Yeah, this is pretty close to being good. Okay, I got the everything cleaned up and I got it kind of mocked up right now. So next thing is I'm gonna tape off the edges right here to try to get because it's kind of lined up perfectly, so I know how to line it up. Because once I put some RTV on here, I don't want to be moving it around and smearing the RTV. So that's what I'm gonna do, because I think it's perfect. I think it's the way it is lined up. Looking at this brake light here, it looks like, yeah, I know you can, gotta sit on this real quick. I know there's gonna be a gap, but actually I don't mind it as long as it still looks good. As you can see, there's a gap right here between the actual light and the actual light, which is this black part that's covered, and then there's the assembly behind it. Then there's the actual spoiler. So that kind of gap right there is very close to that gap right here. Hopefully you can see it. I might try to measure it, but it is very close, and I'm not too worried about it being greatly perfect. My biggest thing is making sure this sits nice and flush, and not hanging off. So that's what I'm trying to focus on right now, and I'm gonna tape it up. Okay, so I got the surface clean. What I first used is like some brake cleaner, then I used some degreaser, and then I finally finish it off with alcohol. I have this mocked up so that this will be the kind of like the edge of where the spoiler is going to start right here. I lined it up with the edge of the rear bumper. Then I made like an L shape based off the edge right here on the bumper. I mean on the spoiler. Did the same thing on the other side. I could go ahead and put the lights on there real quick because I'm already done with everything down here. I did go ahead and tighten these up nice and firm, so they're definitely not going to move. So next thing is I'm going to go ahead and flip this over, and I'm going to pull off all of this adhesive right here. Hopefully it's still good underneath. It should be. And I'm also going to put RTV all right here to make sure this never flies off. Probably going to use red because I don't have any black. Yeah, I think I just got red. It's just high temp. No one's going to see it, so I'm not worried about it. So yeah, let's go ahead and do that real quick. Okay, got it all pulled off. Looks good condition. Put some RTV here. Don't want to put too much because it will smear, and I don't want to go over the edges. So yeah, let's go ahead and stick this on. Okay, so it's on there. I know the lighting's bad, my angle's bad, but I'm gonna go ahead and the next photo I'll do or picture I'll do will actually be outside in the sun, seeing a good full back shot, and you'll be able to see it all. Got the lights all buttoned up too. So I did lose one bolt, which is you want to try to avoid. It fell down here in the bumper somewhere. I'm pretty sure it'll bounce out. If not, if I keep hearing it and it annoys me, it wasn't a bolt. It was a socket. I lost one socket, so eventually I'll get to it. Especially if it annoys me and keeps bumping around, then I'll go fishing for it. But I can't wait to see this out in the light, see how it really looks. I am confident the 3M tape and and the RTV is going to hold it down fine. It's not the method I wanted to. I want to use bolts, but there was no studs already installed in it, and I specifically wanted one with studs. So if you want to know where I got this from, I got this from a site called Carid, spelled C-A-R-I-D. It cost about 200 bucks. The dipping cost about 125. And so yeah, that's where we kind of are with it. So yeah, let's see what it looks like out in the light. Okay, so of course the car is dirty, but I'm gonna go ahead and close this out. So the spoiler is on the car. As you can see, this is what it kind of looks like in the daytime. No, it's not really shiny and it's not a bright, colorful day. But yeah, I'm pretty happy the way it turned out. I might take it off again and just put more adhesive on there. But as of right now, I've done like 3 cruises where I've hit 150 miles an hour on a couple of them, and it's held on there with no issues. If you haven't been to the channel before, please like, please subscribe, and thank you for watching.